my summer camp. For this video, I'm not going to say the actual name of my summer camp because it would give out my location. Okay, so let me start by explaining what my summer camp is. First of all, my summer camp is not an overnight camp. We went from 9 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. Second of all, my summer camp was based around paddling, so kayaking and canoeing. There was also a sports park where we played baseball, soccer, and just a bunch of other games. And third of all, this isn't actually about the summer camp, but this is about the video. I'm going to be sharing some stories that happened at the summer camp. So yeah. This first story is taking place at lunchtime. So basically our lunch went from 12 to 1. And at 12:30, they would open the lake so that anyone could go for a free swim. Now, I didn't usually go for the free swim because none of my friends went for the free swim. But one time, we were coming back from the sports park and it had just started to be lunchtime. I was walking back with him and he said,
I think I'll go for a free swim today.
I was super excited because it was one of the first times I went for free swim that summer. So we grabbed our other friend and we went in the lake. We were swimming and having some fun, but I got out so I could go get something from the canteen. When I was coming back from the canteen, I noticed him and my other friend being talked to by one of the coaches. I walked over and asked what happened. Now before I say this part, I forgot to mention this was the first time that my friend had been in free swim. This is what he told me.
We got banned from free swim?
That is correct. His first time ever going in the free swim, and after 10 minutes, he got banned. What? The reason they got banned was because they were pushing and shoving each other off the dock, which is against the rules, but I find it ridiculous that the first time they went in, they got banned. The coach that banned them ended up coming over later in lunch and told them that they were just going to be banned for a week because he felt bad for banning them for the whole summer. So at least it wasn't too bad. The second story is taking place near the end of the summer in Paddle-a-thon. Let me explain. The Paddle-a-thon is basically, for the whole morning, which is 4 hours, we paddle non-stop to raise money for some charities. There are a bunch of groups at my summer camp divided by age, and everyone participates. So there's like 500 people participating in this. Now, we don't have 500 boats because most people were in crew boats. Basically, you'd have 2 or 4 people in your boat. Basically, I was a canoer, not a kayaker. So I was placed in a boat with a few random people, and we were in what's called a C4. The C stands for canoe, and the 4 stands for 4 people. All the boats were lined up on the lake, and the C4s went before everyone else because C4s are slower than every other boat. We had been going, and we noticed we were going like way slower than all the other boats, even the C4s. So I thought it was just because we didn't have a great crew. But was I wrong. We were about half an hour in the paddle-a-thon when I realized the water in our boat was up to my feet. I told the other people on my boat, and they said,
It's probably nothing, just a bit of water from the waves.
They didn't think it was any need to call a coach over, so we just kept going. But then, when the water was starting to get closer to our knees, they realized we were going down. The coaches were all in motorboats, so they could help people in case they tipped or they sunk, and we were screaming for one to come over, but we were so far behind they couldn't hear us. After the water got to our knees, one motorboat circled back to see why we were so far behind, saw that we were sinking, and helped us. Now, it's not like we would have died if we sunk, but the boat would have sunk, so that wouldn't have been good. That C4 never ended up being used for the rest of the summer, and it's because someone put a hole in it. It was not us, I swear. This next story really focuses on me. So, a few times a summer, the coaches will gather everyone in the summer camp, and we all go to the sports park and play a huge game of Man Tracker. The sports park is huge, and I mean huge. There's tons of paths and trails to hide in. The person who was in U15. I teamed up with my friend. For sake of his real name, we'll just call him Bob. This is the second time we had done that summer, so we knew a very good hiding spot that worked last time. We had to sprint over to the hiding spot because it was quite far away, and if we didn't sprint, whoever was it would have caught up to us and tagged us. Now, this was Man Tracker, so if you got tagged, you were with them. We'd been hiding for quite a while now, and no one had found us. But then, someone was walking down the trail that we were looking at to see if the person who was coming. Our spot was just a random spot behind some bushes, and then there was a dock. That's how we knew where it was. We didn't think the person was it, so we were kind of looking directly at him, and he saw us, and he just started bolting. He was coming straight for us, and we didn't know what to do, so we just ran opposite directions. He ran after Bob, but I made it out. But the direction I ran was even more far away from where everyone else was, so I was pretty far away from the whole game at this point. I'd been hiding behind just some random bushes for a long time, and I was like, geez, shouldn't the game be over? I just waited and waited because when the game was over, everyone was supposed to scream game over, and I never heard it. After a long time, I just got up and started walking back. And as I got closer to everyone else, I could hear some faint screams of game over. Turns out I'd been in that spot for 15 extra minutes, and I was the only one who hadn't been tagged. But I was there, and everyone was screaming game over looking for me, and it took them so long before I came. This next story is a story that really annoys me. I was in a C4 with the 2 friends from the swimming story, and one random person in our age group that nobody liked. I lined the C4 up with all the other boats, and we were about to go just for a paddle for crew boats. The random guy that nobody liked thought it would be funny if he jumped out of the boat and climbed back in. We were literally about to go, and then he jumped out of the boat. The boat turned. We didn't tip, but it turned. He climbed back in. Our coach came over and just was tired of that kid being annoying, so he sent us back to the dock. We waited there for like 10 minutes, and he wasn't coming back to, like, I don't know, give us a talk or send us back out. So we went over to the counselor of the camp, and she made us do work around the camp for the next hour and a half while everyone else was out paddling, just because of this kid. Now, the reason this story annoys me so much is because it was not my fault. It was not my 2 friends' fault. It was this kid's fault. He was so dumb. Okay, now this last story is kind of a quick one. In order to get to the sports park, you have to walk through this really narrow trail. There's tons of sticks and logs on the ground that you have to maneuver around, and it's kind of hard. I've fallen numerous times on that trail, but I never really got that hurt. But one time, we were walking to the sports park, and it wasn't me who got hurt, but this kid who was pretty tall, and he was the oldest kid in the group. He tripped over one of the logs that you're supposed to walk over, and instead of just getting back up again, it not being that bad, he cut his head open. There was screaming. He had to go home. No one knew what happened until he came back. And yeah, it sucked for him. I feel bad. Thank you for watching the video. This is my second animation video. This one I worked really hard on, and it was like 8 minutes long. Thank you to Gradient and Simon Star for voicing some lines. Their channels will be in the description. I want to say a few things. The way I record my animation videos is kind of weird. It kind of made the audio and the animation a bit like off, like by literally like a millisecond. So the 2 parts where I did lip syncing and sometimes where there was quick movements between different frames, it seems a bit like the timing is off. There's nothing I can really do about that. I'm sorry, but hopefully you didn't notice. Also, I tried to improve my animation, especially halfway through the video. I did a bit of lip syncing, and I tried to put more, make it look smoother by adding some stretch frames in between frames, if you understand. Thanks for the fan art. Join my Discord server, subscribe, leave a like. I don't want to miss anything, but I'm just gonna say bye.